On this edition of Commuter Connections, we'll take you to Maryland's Sports Legends Museum. Spring is in the air and Orioles baseball can't be far off. How the museum is getting ready for another season of O's baseball and the MTA's game plan for getting you to Oriole Park for all the action. We'll also show you how the makeover is going at the Mark Halethorpe Station and your questions about MTA service. It's all ahead on Commuter Connections. I'm Terry Owens. Welcome to MTA Commuter Connections. For this edition of the program, we're at Maryland's Sports Legends Museum at Camden Yards in Baltimore, where sports past and present come together. The museum, which is only a baseball throw from Oriole Park, houses some of the most interesting displays and exhibits on sports in our region. And like everyone else, the folks here are looking forward to the upcoming baseball season. It is a sight that die-hard Orioles fans look forward to every year, the start of spring training. With the players back on the field in Florida, it won't be long before Orioles fans are flocking to Camden Yards. And that's because the 2012 season was a season to remember for the Birds, one that reignited the city's passion for the orange and black, and one that came out of left field for many fans. When the umpire yelled play ball to start last season, few imagined what would transpire over the next 162 games. The buckle-up 2012 O's fighting for a playoff spot and division crown to the bitter end of a long season, finishing with a 93-69 record, good for second place in the American League East and one of the 2 American League wildcard spots. It was a season where the team won a wildcard playoff game and took the dreaded Yankees to Game 5 in the division series. That excitement carried right into the Ravens Super Bowl championship season and has Oriole fans thinking twofer. Can the Birds make it to the World Series in 2013? Fans are optimistic and looking forward to another season to remember. Museum Director Mike Gibbons joins us to talk about the upcoming season and what you'll find on a visit here. Mike, so good to see you.
Hey, Terry, welcome down to Sports Legends. Great to have you here, and I love your suit, by the way.
Hey, with the Ravens winning a championship and the baseball season now upon us, everybody is saying, can the Orioles bring home a championship of their own?
Yeah, it's really an exciting place to be in Baltimore right now, to be a sports fan here. We haven't seen anything like this in a long, long time, since back in the early 70s when the Colts and the Orioles were champs. Yeah. So this is pretty unique, untested territory for us. I'm feeling pretty good about the Orioles season. I think they can go a long way into the playoffs.
So now what are you guys doing to get ready for the season?
Well, we're getting ready with a 2012 Orioles exhibit where we'll be featuring some memorabilia from last season. Okay. You know, Chris Davis, he is a first baseman, DH, outfield guy. He goes in to pitch you know, in an extra inning game and is the winning pitcher. We have his shoes that he wore that day, so that's kind of fun. And we also have 3 bats used by Flaherty, J.J. Hardy, and Markakis. They were the first 3 batters in a game back in May against Texas. Boom, boom, boom. They all hit home runs back to back to back, so they're on display. There'll be a lot of other stuff too, so we're pretty excited about this exhibit. That's
awesome. Give us a sense of what it's like around here when the Orioles are winning and the Ravens are winning.
Well, I'll tell you what, this past September, when the Orioles were challenging for the playoffs, they were making the big run, our attendance went up 83% over the previous 83%? September. So it definitely does impact when more people are swirling around Camden Yards. A lot of them come in here to catch up on their Orioles history, also the Ravens history and the history of the state of Maryland sports. So all that's good. They definitely have an impact when the teams are playing better.
So give us a sense. There are some people who are watching this program that perhaps have not been to the museum, don't have a full appreciation for all you guys have to offer here. Give us a sense of what folks can expect to find on a visit.
Well, it's really kind of like a de facto state sports museum, so that we feature everything from the Orioles and the Ravens and the old Baltimore Colts. Johnny U is here, but also Michael Phelps, Carmelo Anthony. So you've got the Preakness. Anything to do with Maryland sports?
Well, anybody that knows anything about you knows this has been your baby for years. Talk a little bit about the evolution and how all of this came into being.
Well, it started way back at the Babe Ruth birthplace 30 years ago when I was younger than you, I think, if you know what I mean. But we featured Babe Ruth. But then we went to the Orioles and said, can we be your museum? Can we represent you? And they were kind enough to say yes. Then the Baltimore Colts left town. William Donald Schaefer was the mayor of Baltimore. He was able to get the Baltimore Colts archives back from Indianapolis. And he called me one day and he said, Gibbons, I've got it in a Mayflower van right out in front of City Hall. Make sure everything came home. And he appointed us to be the official Baltimore Colts archives. And it kind of has been mushrooming ever since. So we took on more and more themes, more and more collectibles from the different sports we represented. And around 2000, maybe even a little earlier, we started looking for an expansion site, and it turned out to be this building, Camden Station, the historic train station of the B&O Railroad, and we have converted that into Sports Legends Museum at Camden Yards.
And one of the things we love about it is that it is so easily accessible through public transit.
Oh my gosh, the tracks are right outside the door. This is a really nice central location so that you've got light rail coming through here, certainly a lot of bus routes to get over here to Camden Yards. And people know how to do that because they come to the ball games. So, you know, it's convenient, just a couple of steps away, and, you know, very doable for people. So, you know, come on down and visit us and take in a day at Camden Yards while you're at it.
I was going to say, for folks who may be coming down to a game this season, perhaps haven't been here before, they could catch the light rail or the Metro subway down. What are the hours here for folks who want to get in and make sure they don't miss any of the action?
Well, on game days, we're open 10 to 7. So a lot of fans will come down a couple hours early, take in the museum, maybe even go over to the Babe Ruth birthplace, which is just 2 blocks away, and then come on over to the ball game. On non-game days, we're open 10 to 5. So lots of opportunities, and we're open every day, you know, from April through October, so for all of the sports season.
And for folks who have not been here yet, why do they absolutely need to get to the Sports Legends Museum?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, Tara, we have the real deal of local sports. So when you come here, you'll see Super Bowl trophies, World Series trophies, the items that we're talking about from the 2012 Orioles, and I expect a nice smattering of memorabilia to be coming in from the Ravens World Championship season as well. So lots of good stuff here, championship rings. Carmelo Anthony walked in here one day and just kind of brought us his stuff, including his national championship ring from when he was at Syracuse. So it's like you can see all of these things right here. And you know, right here behind us, Cal Ripken, 2131, right here in the building with Johnny U, with Michael Phelps. They're all under one roof.
All right. Mike Gibbons doing a tremendous job here at the Sports Legends Museum. Thank you so much for opening your doors to us.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Good to see you.
Of course, the MTA is ready to get you to Oriole Park for America's favorite pastime. And joining us now with a look at the various options available for travel to Oriole Park at Camden Yards this season is MTA Director of Rail Service, Jason Lurs. Jason, you've just come off an amazing season with the Ravens, getting people to and from that. And now you turn around and it's Orioles baseball on top of you. How do you guys do it?
Oh, if last year was any kind of indication of what the O's are going to do this year, I think we have our work cut out for us. So we're expecting increased ridership at the Camden Yards. So we're ready, just like we were last year. We're ready every year for the Orioles to win the World Series. So
and the employees get just as fired up around this stuff as anybody else, don't they?
Yes, they do. Like I said, they wear the Oriole hats, the jerseys, just like they do with the Ravens, and we encourage them to show home pride. So they enjoy it just as much as the fans, because they are fans.
Now, for people who or, you know, a lot of people have moved away from the Orioles, are coming back this season, and we saw some of that, who may not be familiar with the service and taking advantage of public transit. What are some of the best options for people who want to come to a game?
Well, if you don't want to mess around with the city traffic, you can always use MTA or public service. You know, taking the light rail, you can get on. It goes from Hunt Valley down to BWI. Some of the popular locations are up in the Towson area to get onto our park and rides, parking lots. Takes you down to either the convention center, where you can get off of the train and get into the Camden Yards, or go down to the Camden station where you can do the same. So, and the Metro subway system, you can get on that. It goes from Owings Mills to Johns Hopkins. You have a little bit of a walk, so I'd recommend that you take light rail. But service runs for Metro every 8 to 10 minutes, and for light rail every 10 to about 20 minutes. But during the ending of the game, we always stage light rail trains near Camden Yards, so that way we can quickly get the fans back to their houses.
Okay. We hear from time to time people saying that things don't move as quickly as they might like getting out of the stations. What do you tell people about how this service works and what they need to know going in?
Well, when you have tens of thousands of people leaving at one time, it's kind of hard to fit them on a train that can only fit, around 500. So that's why we have trains stationed here and there to be able to quickly get the fans on the trains and get them to where they're going, either north or south.
Yeah, it's a wonderful option for people, as you said, who may not want to drive into downtown. It gives them a chance to come down a little early. They can check out the museum or something like that, maybe grab a bite to eat, enjoy the game, and then have a little patience as they're leaving the game to give us a chance to get all the people off the platform and get them to where they're going. Now, for folks who are going to be using the system this year, is there anything new that passengers can expect to see, say, on the light rail platforms?
Other than the digital signage and the PA announcements, this way we can better communicate with our riderships. We can advise them when the trains are coming, when the next train is leaving, if we have delays. It also has the LED signage, so we can display it as well. And also we have enhanced security. We have security cameras, which we remotely monitor from our monitoring facility, police monitoring facility, to better provide security to our ridership.
How big a deal were those new PA LED hookups for you?
A huge deal. It was a public outcry for better communication and notification. We can do so much with e-media. However, with this, it's real time. It's right there. They can communicate as it happens. 10-minute delay, train's coming in 30 seconds. Next northbound train is going to be taken out of service. So it's more of a better ride for our public.
Okay. For folks who are planning to use the service this year, they should then think about perhaps giving themselves ample time to come to, if you're going to a game, do you wait till, an hour before the game starts to head out? What should people know about using public transit that they may not factor in?
Well, all part of coming to the game is enjoying the game. It's not like you go to a movie and you go there right away, so that way you don't have to wait. It's all part of the experience, the element. So you want to get here early, get the magic and the fever going, and that way you don't get headaches from the traffic and the congestion. So the other thing is at the end of the games, if it takes a little bit longer or extra innings for the Orioles to beat up on whoever dares play against us, we stay open for an hour after the last out. So this way, if the game goes into long extra innings, people can still know that we're going to take care of them. We're going to get home.
Fantastic. And we heard about that last season. What wasn't one of the teams down the road? The system wasn't going to operate and
stop service, left people stranded. That's not how we operate.
Yeah, good. Well, Jason, thank you so much for coming in and letting us know what people can look forward to this season. Those new LAPED systems are up and ready to go with all the kinds of information you need about how the traffic is moving, and enjoy your games, enjoy public transit getting you to and from those games. All right. Coming up next, a look at locally operated transit systems around the state, what they are and how they are benefiting your community. Stay with us. There's much more ahead on Commuter Connections.
High school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
When you think MTA, local bus, light rail, metro subway, MARC, and mobility generally come to mind. You may not know this, but MTA's reach goes far beyond the services it provides Central Maryland. MTA also plays a critical role in the local transit services provided in Western Maryland and even on the Eastern Shore. It's all made possible through locally operated transit system programs, or LOTS. Beth Kreider heads up LOTS service initiatives, and she joins us now with more on these other things that the MTA do that not many people know about, Beth.
That's true, Terry. Not many people know that there are actually transit systems in virtually every local jurisdiction across the state. And they transport people to doctor's appointments, healthcare facilities, schools, shopping. They really improve the quality of life for them.
And how does MTA play a role with these organizations?
Well, we help to provide funding, we provide technical support, and then we provide oversight of them. So we give them grant money to help execute their programs and projects.
Give us an example of a program that the LOTS program has supported that most people don't know about.
Well, probably the one that's most remote of any is Garrett County. I mean, if you think about how rural a jurisdiction that is, they actually have a transit system that provides transportation. Demand response a little different than what we see here in Baltimore, but carries people to doctor's appointments and shopping and wherever they need to go.
So providing invaluable services in rural areas of the state as well as in the central regions here. You said the MTA plays a role in helping to fund these organizations. How do you do that?
Well, a couple different ways. First and foremost, we receive federal funding, which we are the recipient of, and we grant that through contractual agreements with the local jurisdictions. So they receive federal funding that comes out of FTA. And then the state also has some programs that fund additional funding, provide additional funding to support those programs. But funding also comes from the local jurisdictions themselves. They provide probably 50 to 60% of the funding in those jurisdictions. So it's really a joint effort through many partners to make it happen.
Have you got any major initiatives underway right now on the Eastern Shore?
There are a couple of major projects down on the shore right now. Probably the largest one is a new operations facility in Salisbury for, Tri-County Council for the Lower Eastern Shore. Through federal funding, state funding, and local funding, they have been able to buy an old facility that they've converted into a sort of a headquarters building, and they're actually being able to consolidate 5 different locations under one roof, which is kind of neat because it's the first time that they've been able to do that in their existence. So they'll see a lot of efficiencies and effectiveness as a result of that. And then we're working with Ocean City. Not everybody knows that Ocean City buses are actually a locally operated transit system. And so we're helping them with a study to look at their campus to see if they may need to make some improvements there with a new facility or changing the existing facility to meet those needs.
I was also really excited to hear about an effort to purchase some all-electric buses going on out in Howard County, is it?
Yeah, that's another really neat project that's underway at this point. We received a grant through the Tigger grant funding back a couple of years ago for an inductive charging system for Howard County. And Central Maryland Regional Transit, in partnership with Howard County, are working to develop that project. And hopefully in about a year and a half, we'll be able to introduce that and kick that off. But it's kind of neat. It's a technology a lot like the electric toothbrush, believe it or not, where a bus pulls over a charging pad and recharges while it's en route.
Fantastic. Wow, so much going on in so little time. But thank you for coming in and sharing with us. I hope you'll come back and keep us apprised of all that's going on with LOTS.
Sure, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Terry.
MTA is all around the state, and so is Commuter Connections. We were recently on the scene of a MARC rail station construction project that you may have missed. MARC Rail constructed a new pedestrian commuter bridge as part of an overhaul of the MARC Hillthorpe station.
It is a project 12 years in the making, and on a chilly night in February, one of the last major pieces is finally coming together. It's the installation of an 80-foot pedestrian bridge. Fred Heiser is part of the architectural team selected to remake the Halethorpe MARC station.
What was here was nothing more than almost a glorified bus shelter with a little warming station at one end.
The old Halethorpe station is being replaced with a state-of-the-art facility that features a Victorian design with 21st century appeal. It includes covered high-level platforms, ADA-compliant elevators, and a new kiss and ride lot. Steve Silva, MTA's Director of Engineering, says the 1,300 daily commuters that use this facility can expect a vastly improved transit experience.
The high-level platforms make the boarding more efficient. You can get on and off the train quicker. And then, of course, with the elevators and the bridge across, it would be easier to get from one side to the other.
Under the watchful eyes of MTA senior staff, safety officials, engineers, and contractors, the job of hoisting this 80-ton steel bridge into place would begin. A special heavy-duty crane was brought in for the project. The crane operator would be assisted by teams of workers on the ground and in bucket trucks maneuvering the steel structure ever so gently into place.
Because there are high voltage wires that service the entire corridor, northeast corridor, as well as catenary wires below them which services the trains while they're at the station, there's a very narrow window of how the bridge was designed to be able to fit through it. It's almost like threading the eye of a needle, but except that you're doing it with an 80-ton piece of thread.
After weeks of preparation, the bridge erection took a little more than an hour to complete. MARC train customers can expect the new station to be fully online by midsummer.
All right, we'll take a quick break here. Up next, Ask the MTA. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, what kind of card is it?
This is the new S-Pass.
Really?
Yeah, it's a special fare card for students and it's really easy to use. You put it in the fare gate and you go on your way. So for the bus, you just slide it through the fare box, and on the light rail, you show it to the fare inspector when they ask you for it. You get it at your school. That's where I got mine. You can use the S-Pass weekdays between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. But remember, only you can use your S-Pass, so make sure you have your ID with you at all times. With the S-Pass, you can kick back, ride, respect, and relax.
Transit is all about people. It's the people and the interesting personalities you find working to assist commuters during the daily trip that often stand out and can make a world of difference in a day of travel.
It is estimated that nearly 400,000 Marylanders use public transportation every day. From the regular grocery run on the transit bus to the multi-state commute on the MARC trains. When Marylanders have to get there, a large portion use the services of the MTA.
This is West Baltimore this time.
And a good transportation service deserves an equally sufficient staff, which is why the MTA strives to maintain a high standard of customer service. At every point of customer contact, MTA employees recognize customer service as a priority. This means station attendants, transit bus drivers, and commuter rail operators must all maintain a friendly, considerate demeanor towards customers when addressing their needs.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Arriving next to Gate E on track 6, the MARC local to Martin Airport. Arriving next.
Which brings us to the voice of Penn Station in Baltimore.
Your attention, please. This will be the final call. Final call for boarding MARC commuter train 612.
Meet Sharon Green.
The 23 bus on Saratoga Street will take you to West Baltimore.
Sharon has been welcoming.
This is what I do every day, sweetie.
That's tight.
What's up?
And informing train commuters for nearly 4 decades.
I like people. You have to like people in order to deal with them. I like dealing with the people. I'll be bored. It's not boring. It's never a dull moment around here, so that's why I like it.
Which just happens to be a goal for the MTA.
We appreciate the input that our riding public gives us. They're the eyes and ears of the transit community. They make sure that here at MTA we're doing what we need to do to meet their needs.
So the next time you visit the hallowed halls of Baltimore's major rail center, stop by and say hi to Sharon.
Hi, good morning.
It's a sure bet that she'll leave you smiling.
Okay. Okay.
I'm Latasha McCray of the MTA Service Quality Division. Here's our first Ask the MTA question.
This is Tim from Cockeysville, Maryland. I actually want to ask, can you let the people know, I guess in a more public way, I guess using the news to let everyone know about any events or any delays or any stoppage of service?
Yes, there are several ways that the patrons can determine whether or not there will be a service disruption on the line that they need. There's Facebook, Twitter, the MTA's website, e-news, the local media, or the internal or external public announcement systems. And our next question.
My name is Edward Potter. I'm from Baltimore City. My question is, why doesn't the MTA have service on the light rail and the metro later on Friday and Saturday nights?
The MTA has several services that operate late on Friday and Saturday night. Our core services mostly operate 24/7. However, the ridership drops significantly after rush hour. And our next question.
My name is Tyrone Gillespie, and I want to know, could the MTA put more security out here to protect our children and the elderly during school hours and after?
The MTA police uses data-driven strategies when deploying their officers during school hours. They also combine forces with Baltimore City School Police and Baltimore City Police Department during the school hours to ensure safety for the students and the elderly patrons. And our next question.
Hi, my name is Alvania Barrera, and I'm from Owings Mills, Maryland, and I'm new in the area, so I'm like 2-3 months new. I wish would MTA please lower the time on the subway to at least every 10 minutes.
The Metro train's ridership is right now being reviewed to see if train intervals need to be either increased or decreased. However, at this present time, there is no increase in train intervals. And our next question.
I'm Kimberly, and I'm from West Baltimore. Can the MTA issue S-passes on weekends, like Saturday, Sunday, so students can have access to their schools?
The S-passes are allowed for the students to use between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. The single trip pass, which is the salmon colored pass, are the passes that they can get from the schools to operate on weekends if need be, only a one-way trip. And we appreciate your input. If you have a question you'd like to ask the MTA, visit the MTA website at mta.maryland.gov for a convenient TV show link, or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of MTA Commuter Connections. I'm Terry Owens. We'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.